Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to you, wherever you may be. This is By Hook or By Needles, and I am Sam, and I've just got to mute that before that comes ping-ponging. Today is something different. I'm going to show you something that very few of you, very few of you, I would imagine, have actually seen. And if you have seen it, perhaps you've put it aside thinking it's just too difficult to do, so I'm not going to do it. Now, what am I talking about? In crochet, we have lots of lovely stitches. What we don't have is a lot of stretchiness. Now, this is a single crochet square that I've made. Now, if I pull it this way, it stretches and it stays sort of stretched, and my square now becomes an oblong. But it does have a lot of stretch lengthways. What if I don't want stretch lengthways? What if I want stretch widthways? So what if I want stretch this way? Not going to get a lot. And again, you can actually see the thumbs, where I pulled on it, are still sticking out. There's no bounce back. So I went down a rabbit hole, and I spent the last 5 days down that rabbit hole, going around and around and around, and I found a stitch. And when you see this stitch, I'm hoping you will be as amazed as I was when I first saw it. And please let me know if you have seen this before and thought, no, it's too hard, because I'm going to do a tutorial for this stitch, and I have simplified it somewhat. So I'm hoping that you can, if you did try it in the past and just put it aside, that maybe you'll try it again. So this is my swatch. Now I'm just gonna, okay, there's my swatch. It's made up of single crochet. That is single crochets. They are all single crochets. The front and the back are the same, but look at this. Now let me first do this stretch. Stretch height-wise, no. And it doesn't quite recoil back. You can still see where my thumbs grabbed it to pull it, but that's lengthways. Let's have a look at the widthways. That's widthways. Now, what if I let go? It bounces back, and you cannot see where I pulled it out. This is called zigzag stretchy crochet or something like that. I don't think it actually has an official name, and I'm imagining that the zigzag part of the name comes from the fact that the edges are like zigzags, if you can see that. Yeah, very stretchy, recoils beautifully, and it just, yeah, springy as. Perfect if you want to do a headband. I mean, one of the hardest parts about doing a headband is, you can't determine exactly what size everyone's head's going to be. So if you're making headbands for a stall or something, for crafting, for selling, it's going to be very hard. Whereas with this, you can sort of see that it's sort of, let me see if I can sort of keep it still and see if I can, you can sort of see it almost doubles in length, I would say. So you've got a lot of give with it. You've got a lot of leeway for when you're doing your initial chain. Now let me tell you, the initial chain that they ask you to do for this is a nightmare. And if you have tried this stitch before and you were lost at the chain, don't worry, I don't do that chain. I do a normal starting chain and I end up with just same type of fabric. It is just so stretchy. I love it. I really, really love it. It's quite thick, but this is I've used an 8-ply 100% merino Australian wool, so you know you can sort of see that it's sort of quite thick, but it's going to offer a lot of warmth. But then if it's stretching, I'm just trying to see if I can feel, yeah, I mean it's a lot thinner obviously, so it's not going to be sort of necessarily as hot or as warm as you might think initially. I don't know. Ribbings, cuff ribbings, collar ribbings, leggings. If you're doing, not leggings, leg warmers, you want a cuff on a leg warmer, cuff on a sock, cuff on a cowl, or even a whole cowl, that you want to be sort of compact but stretch. You know, you might want a cowl that's really quite close to the neck. Now when you're making those, they can be a little bit of a hassle getting on and off. If you've got something this stretchy, it's not going to be a hassle to get on and off. There are so many uses for something this stretchy. It can be done with half double crochets, single crochets, and double crochets. The single crochet is the springiest. It bounces back the best and it stretches the most. But you can use half double crochet or double crochet, just in case you are wondering. I'm going to show you how to do this, but I'm not going to go straight to my hook and yarn. First, I'm just going to show you how to do the chain, because it is different to previous videos, and these initial videos go back 4 years, and I'm finding it really mind-blowing that something this creative, something this stretchy, something this, and it is beautiful, I find. Like if you sort of stretch it, I don't know if you can see, it's really got a very pretty texture to it when it's stretched. And when it's not stretched, it's, you know, it's just got a really pretty texture. And I'm flabbergasted that this was released 4 years ago by I think it's a Japanese person. I don't know whether it's male or female, because there's a voiceover done in male, but there's also a voiceover done in female on some of the videos. So it might just be that was the voiceover they had available to them to translate into English. It was very difficult to learn. This is not, and I repeat, not a beginner stitch, but it is something that you can certainly aspire to. Okay, that's enough praising the stitch. I'm going to shut this down, flip the camera, do all the bits that I've got to do to change the angle, and then we're going to start with just the chain. And I will show you the chain that they tell you to use, and I will show you what I consider to be the pitfalls for that. But anyway, I will be back in a split second, tickety-boo. Back in a second. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. It doesn't cost a thing to press the button. Thanks. Okay, pen. Where was my pen? let me show you. Well, let me show you first the way they actually do their chain, or they tell you how to do the chain. And I will explain what I consider to be the absolute huge pitfalls and problems with it. Whoops, sorry, I keep bumping everything. Okay, so they're telling you when you start that you do not do a slip knot, and that you basically you grab your yarn and you go like this. But unlike normally where you would pull through and create a slip knot, they want you to pull through and leave that as a stitch, not a stitch, as a chain. So it's not a slip stitch. They want you to use it as a chain. Why, I'm really not sure, but that is what they are asking you to do. I'm not going to do that because it just gets lost anyway, so I'm just going to do a slip knot. Now this is how they suggest you do your chain. You do one like normal, and then you put your hook to the back, you come under and grab the yarn and pull it through, and your yarn and your hook's at the front. You do a normal chain, you go back, under, pull the thread through, and that you keep doing this. And what it creates is a little sort of concertina. See how there's like a little up and down, up and down. Now, a few problems I had with this. One, if you want to do a really long chain, you had better not have any interruptions, because to remember what the last one you did was and what you need to do next can often completely ruin the whole chain, and so you're sort of broken. You go, oh, okay, I'm going to have to start over. Secondly, I don't see the necessity for doing this when a normal chain will suffice, and a normal chain is what I use to start this off. I did not use the normal chain for this piece. Whoops, sorry again. I did not use a normal chain for this piece. No, I did not. I used the chain they stated. Now, as you can see, apart from the cat hair, there is this sort of zigzag. You've got one here, and then you've got the other part here, 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 and so on and so forth. Really, birds? Okay, thank you for your input. Most valuable, I'm sure. Okay, now, I think this is where it gets the name the zigzag ribbing. Now this is the cast on edge, and I might have stuffed it up a little bit because once again, you have the difficulty of remembering what stage you're up to when you're creating the chain, but equally when you're working into the chain, sometimes you can't find the loop you need to go into because the chain has twisted, and that can really hold you back and prevent you from even wanting to try this stitch. Okay, so but first I'm going to show you with pen and paper what I do for my chain. Like I say, it's a normal chain. So I'm going to make it really big because you need to really see what I'm doing here. So we've got the chain. Okay. I'm going to do an 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the reason I've done an even number is because you will want the last one to always be what they are calling a pearl single crochet. Okay, you want it to be a pearl single crochet so that when you start the next round, you will be doing a normal single crochet. So this is really just one new stitch. So you do your 10, and let's say we've got our little back bump here showing. Well, normally I would work into the back bump, but in this case I'm not going to. I actually turn it sort of upside down. I got a chain here, just to give me a little bit of height for my first stitch. Now, because you're doing a zigzag, you are doing single crochet, normal single crochet on this leg, on this side of the chain, and you're coming in to that leg from this angle, and then you're completing your single crochet as you would normally finish your single crochet. Then you've got, and I don't really know how to make, there is no symbol for a pearl single crochet, so I'm just going to invent one and say that this is because that sort of indicates that it's twisted, it's different. Now, and that has to go into this leg from this direction. So you're alternating into that way, then that way, and that way, all the way along. And when you get to the end, if you end with the pearl single crochet, you're going to start with a normal single crochet, and you just do a normal chain. They don't tell you to do that. They do have a whole different way of doing it. They want you to it's rather a sort of twisted chain. It's I think the stitch is hard enough without adding extra bits to it that are not really going to make any difference to the overall look of the stitch. Will the cast on section be slightly wider? Possibly, but if you are adding it to an existing sleeve, for example, well, then it doesn't really matter, does it? Because you're adding it to an existing piece of crochet, which is going to have all these little sort of loops at the top, or V's at the top. And, so you're just going to go in one way and out the other way. And the way you use your hook changes somewhat as well. We talk about over and under loops when you are doing crochet. You might go, I can never remember if it's over or under. When you're doing amigurumi single crochet, where's my end gone? Hang on. When you're doing amigurumi, you tend to sort of, when you're doing your single crochet, you go into your loop and then you go like that if you're doing amigurumi. Whereas if you're doing a normal single crochet, you go like that. Well, that pearl single crochet is like the opposite of a normal single crochet. So if you are a knitter or have ever been a knitter and have worked out how to knit backwards, so that you do not have to do a purl row, you will be familiar with how to, work out how to do that. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. I'm going to do a chain now, and I'm going to just do probably just 10 or 11 because I need one for height. 1, 2, 3, 4, oops, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and 11. Right. So, my first stitch is going to be into here. My second stitch is going to be into here. My third into here. Fourth into here, and so on. It's a good idea to try and keep that chain straight so you can see better where you're going in. And once you've gone into the bottom or the top, it does sometimes shrink the next stitch. So you need to be aware of that when you're doing, this stitch. So that's the chain that I've made for a bit of extra. And I'm coming into the stitch from the back, under and through. So I'm just going to go like that, and I'm going to pull through and then pull through. And I've made just a normal, well, semi-normal single crochet. Now, you can see how that's twisted my chain already. So I need to make sure I go back and I look and I go, okay, I need to go into here. And I need to go in from the front to the back. But this is where it becomes very different. When you go in, now normally you would go like this, but we're going to be going like this. And you pull through. And you don't pull through just like that, okay? There's a lot to this stitch. You go, pull it through, and it's got to go to the back. Alright, it's got to go to the back. And then you grab it up like that again, and you pull it through both stitches. Both loops, sorry. Okay, so we go back. This is the next one I'm going to go into. I'm going to go in from the front to the back. Oh, someone's cooking something really yummy. I can smell it. You pick up your loop. This is just your normal single crochet. It's slightly different because you are coming in from a different angle. Like I say, you've still got to try and keep that chain straight, because it will become twisted. And this is what happens when you do their chain. It becomes so twisted and so distorted you cannot find, or you can find, but it's very difficult to find the loop you should be going into. This is a lot easier. You can find the top and you can say, okay, I need to go into the top loop now. So when you go into the, but you don't go in from here, you've got to go back. You've got to have your needle, your hook in the back. I might not have done that on the first one. Apologies if I didn't. So your yarn is at the front. You go in from the front to the back. I don't think I did it this way for the first one. I do apologize. It is a lot to absorb, and I am not going to sugarcoat it. You know, it's not easy to learn. And I'm doing my best to teach you, so I really hope you excuse any of my errors that I will make. Alright, so the yarn is at the front. We come around, we grab it, and we pull it through. And don't forget, this has to go to the back again. So we pull it through, and we go to the back, rather than bring it to the front, like you would for a normal single crochet. Then you go yarn over again, and you bring it through both loops Now you want the hook at the front because you're going to perform a normal single crochet. So, okay, there's the next chain. We're going to go into that one because you can see that there's the back of the previous chain, there's the front of the previous chain, so we need to look at the next chain, which is top and bottom, and so we need to go into the bottom. Coming from behind, we go through, we pick up our working thread like we normally would, we bring our hook to the front like we normally would, and then we pull through. And once again, once we've pulled through, the hook needs to be facing, pointing away. It needs to go to the back of the work. So we go through and we go back. And you can see again, it's twisted again. It twists every time you do it. And that is why I find their chain so difficult. Okay, so now we're looking for our next one, which is just there. I can see it. I'm going to go through just there. Could you see that? And we go around that way. We pull through. Don't forget, it's got to go to the back. We loop it over and we bring it through. Oops, bit tight. Oops, did it the wrong way. And there we go. Okay. How's everyone coping so far? Next chain, we want to go into the bottom. So, just a normal single crochet. When we get to the finish there, the hook has to go to the back. Alright. Once again, we're turning the chain. The next chain, we want to go into the back. We need to have the yarn in front to do this. We go into that back loop or back leg of the chain. We go around. We come through. Don't forget, we don't go to the front. We go to the back again. We round and we come through. Oops. And it's a little bit tight. I'm making a little bit too tight. And we want it at the front, so we bring it forward. Okay, we've got two left. 1 and 2. So we come down. Pick up. We just do a normal single crochet, but when we come through, it goes to the back. The yarn is in front of our hook. We look at the last one, because that's our slip knot, so we're not including that one. We look at the last one. We go through that last top leg. Yarn is in front. We yarn over that way. We bring it through, but we take it to the back and go over, and we bring it through. I'm making it so much tighter than I need to. And bring it through. Now, you know you have done this right when you look at the top and you can see a little zigzag. And you know, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stitches. You see that? 10 stitches. And as you can see, it's a lot smaller than the initial chain was. So it does already, even just using a normal chain, it shrinks it. So in my personal opinion, I'm going with the easy option, and that's this option. That's this option. So, what do we do here? Well, they tell you, I think, that you need, if you are doing a normal single crochet in the next stitch, which we are, because we're going to start every row in it with a single crochet, and we're going to end every row with a purl single crochet. They tell you just to do a normal chain. Now, should you find you want to do an odd number for some reason, that's when they tell you to go around the other way to do your chain. And like I say, I don't see an awful lot of point of that. I don't think it affects the stretchiness at all. I don't think it affects the pattern at all. And yeah, so, and especially as I said before, if you are adding this as a cuff to a sleeve, you're not going to have that special zigzaggy chain. You are going to have normal chains. So you need to know how to work into those normal chains to create your zigzaggy ribbing, or whatever they want to call it. So I do one single crochet, one chain, and I turn my work. Now my last stitch on the last row was a purl stitch, or a purl single crochet. So now I'm doing a single. It's not like ribbing where we do front post, back post, front post, back post, and then when we come back we have to go back post, front post, back post, front post. No, it doesn't. It's not like that. You're alternating. So if you end with a purl, you start with a normal single crochet, and the next stitch will be a purl single crochet into a normal single crochet. And this is how it works. And you can already see you are already guided by the way the zigzag goes as to where you need to put your hook and which way you need to go in and which type of stitch you need to do, because this is perfectly positioned for coming in from this direction to do a normal single crochet. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to come in, pick up that loop, do my normal single crochet, sending the hook to the back when I'm done, and then voila, that's positioned perfectly for me to go in from the front on an angle with the yarn in front, and I'm going to grab that yarn and I'm going to pull it through. Don't forget, we've got to go to the back. And then I'm going to grab it again and pull it through both. And now we want the hook to the front. We know we want the hook to the front because we've got the slant here, which is ideal for coming in this direction, which is how we do the single crochets. So we just do a normal single crochet and we go to the back. Yarn in front, we can see our angle. We go into this stitch, we go around, we pull through, going straight to the back again, and around, and we pull through too, and we bring the hook to the front. There's our angle coming this way. We just do a normal single crochet. Oops, let me try that again. And the hook points to the back. The yarn is in front of the hook. We've got our stitch there that we have to go into. We come in, yarn in front, around, we pull through, and it has to go to the back. Yarn around, pull through, comes to the front. For our single crochet and normal single crochet. Except at the end we go to the back. We have this other stitch, yarn in front, there we go, yarn around, pull through, but we go to the back again, yarn around, and we pull through, and we're at the front again. Down, around for a normal single crochet. Whoops, just need to take it round to the back, and we're on our last stitch, which is going to be a purl single crochet. So we purl our single crochet, come through, go to the back, go around and pull through. Oh, you can come to the front, and already you can see it's shrunk a little bit, even a little bit more, but look how stretchy it is. Now admittedly the initial chain isn't as stretchy as where is it? The initial chain on this, okay? Because it's a normal chain. But if you went up a hook size or two, then it would be fine. And you can see it concertines already. And you can see again, you've got the zigzag. And the zigzag tells you what is the stitch you need to do. And although the actual edge here doesn't stretch much, once again, if you're putting it on the end of a sleeve, you're not going to have that stretch initially. It's just going to be this part that really stretches and then contracts back. And in fact, when you put these stitches onto a normal piece of work, it does sort of tend to look like it's sort of coming in a bit like a trapezoid. But, you know, and you can sort of almost see that here. You know, this is a bit sort of curved now, and it's tighter here. But that is how you want your cuff to be. Okay, so I would go perhaps with a slightly bigger hook to see how that works. I don't mind. There's not, you know, there is a limit to the stretch there, because the stretch here is what it's all about. Okay, now I'm going to do another row for you, because I know this is an awful lot to absorb, and you know, I'm not sure that I've even absorbed it all myself. It's a lot to, you know, take in. So I'm just going to do a normal chain, sorry. I'm going to turn my work, and I can see that there's a chain. So the top of the stitch is angled this way, so I need to come in from this direction. And so I know that that is automatically a normal single crochet, except you come in from a different angle and you go to the back. You go to the back, you come from the front to the back of the work with the yarn in front, you pick up a loop, again you go straight to the back, pick up a loop, comes all the way through. Normal single crochet, except we go to the back, yarn in front, pick up a loop, straight to the back again, pick up another loop, and straight through. Normal single crochet. So we go to the back, normal single crochet, to the back, just making sure my hands are sort of in view. Just lately I've been doing videos, and I've noticed that even though my hands are in view on the screen when I'm looking at it and doing the item. When I go to the video and play it just to check, you know, it's up here. And I think, well, it was in the middle when I was doing it. But anyway, hopefully that won't happen, or I'll have to do it again. Right. What did I just do? See, and this is where it can get confusing. You go, oh dear, what did I just do? Well, it's quite easy to work out, because your hook's at the front. The next one is a slope, and it's sloping that way, so you know you've got to come in from that way. So you know you're doing a single crochet. And of course you've only got one left, and you know that you're finishing with a pearl single crochet. So yarn in front, through, pick up, go to the back again, around, pull through, and there you are. Now you will notice the edges do have a little wave to them as well. I don't consider that a huge problem, because if you're working in the round, and when you're working in the round, you're going to need a what are you going to need? You're going to need an even number of stitches too, aren't you? Because you're going to want to go from your pearl crochet. No, you need to finish with yeah, I'll have to have a look at that. I think there's a special way of doing the working in the round that I haven't yet mastered. But I'm going to put the link down to the original designer of this stitch. But if you're working in the round for a rib, that's not going to matter. One edge is straighter than the other, I've noticed. That's only because I've actually sewn in my tail ends. So that's why that's been straightened off. That end was like this end. But if you're working in the round, you're not going to get that problem. And even if you decide to do the cuff straight, then once you sew it up, it's really not going to matter too much. In fact, I think you find that this top bit will be sticking out, so it's going to fit into that dip, and the next mountain, if you like, will fit into the next valley. The next mountain will fit into and so it's going to sort of fit into each other really well. Oh, I've got an itch now. Okay, so let's have a look at what we've got here. Okay, you can see once again it's just coming in a little bit, but once you've sewn the sides to each other or whatever, you're not going to notice that as much. And you can see heel and valley, heel, and then you can see this will be heel and valley, heel, maybe. Yeah, I think it will be, so it will be the same, both ends. Alright, so that destroys that theory. As you can tell, I'm really new to this myself, but you can see the stretch, and hopefully you will enjoy playing with this and coming up with ways to use it. I've already got a few ways I want to use this. I'm not going to tell you which ways, but yeah, there's one way in particular that I really want to use this, and yeah, I'm going to try and use it in that format, and cross my fingers and toes and hopes that it works. Let me know below if you need more tutorials. Maybe you want me to go for a longer piece. Maybe you want me to do a tutorial with the proper chain. I'm willing to do that, but it will be more of a, see, I was right, it's really impossible to find where you're going. But I'm happy to do that. If you want me to if you're not happy with the fact that this edge isn't as springy as the top edge, then yeah, I'm willing to try and do a tutorial with the zigzag chain. Any questions, please ask away. I will do my very, very best to try and explain, you know, what the problem you might be having is. Yeah, have a play with it. See what you think. I mean, I just think it's amazing. It is such a stretchy stitch. And like I say, you can do these. You can do half double crochets or double crochets. And I will show you with just the last 2 stitches how a double crochet would go, for example. Oh, I've missed one there. Did I miss one? I think I might have. So we're going to come in, we're going to loop over like normal, because we're going to do a normal half double crochet. Okay, and go 1 2 1 2. I've forgotten how to do a normal double crochet. No, that's right. Then you're going to want to, whoops, have your yarn to the your thing to the back. You're going to want to go keep the yarn at the front. Oh, hang on. You're going to yarn over that way first. Okay, because it's a double crochet. You're going to come in. You're going to yarn over. You're going to pull up. You're going to yarn over and pull through 2. Go to the back. No, I've stuffed that up somehow. Sorry, because I haven't really actually practiced this. So you would yarn over. Maybe you would yarn over as normal, because it's going to be at the front. No, you'd have to yarn over like that, wouldn't you? And then you would have to go through to the back. Yarn over, pull through. And, whoops. And you'd have to take it to the back like you do. This is a bit trickier. You would have to take it to the back like you do with your single crochet when you come through. But you want to take it through and be on top of that. Yeah. And then you would yarn over, pull through 2, go to the back. So if you go, you've got to go to the back, but you've got to go over the loop, like that. So the loop's still on, and then you'd have to go around and pull through. Yeah, something like that. It's not easy, as I say. It's a very tricky stitch. But hopefully I've shown you enough for you to get started with and to play with it and see how you cope with it. It's just a matter of knowing that you've always got to take the hook to the back for those purl single crochets. And if you can do that and remember that, you're halfway there, really. That's the hardest part, is just getting that routine. And then you've got this lovely stretchy fabric. And I love it. You could almost make, what do they call it? Fidget mats or whatever with this, because I'm actually really enjoying just stretching it. So I would imagine that would be quite fun for a child to sort of stretch, and if it had beads and whatnot on it. That would be sort of, because it's sort of, the way it bounces back is really quite fun as well. So I don't know, maybe it would be a good little fidget thing. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed this, please leave me a like and a comment maybe. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. You're going to get more of this sort of stuff. And yeah, I will see you all next time. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye for now.